morning. Thank you very much for such kind words. I do not deserve that. And I'm just senior archaeologist, no leading archaeologist, just a small, piece of the team. So once again, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate that you are here, and I appreciate that so many people joined the Zoom version of the lecture. And using the opportunity, I would like to thank to all of you, because you are such great group of people, and I was very happy to be a part of it. So I really appreciate every single trip and lecture and every experience which we shared. So thank you very much for that.
Have you attended enough to Burj Khalifa?
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, incredible experience. So anyway, archaeology is better than Burj Khalifa. So today I would like to tell you what archaeology can add to the quite well-known history of Jazeera Al Hamra. And I am deeply convinced that a lot of you, probably most of you, already visited Jazeera Al Hamra. But for those who didn't, I just would like to. Okay. So I just would like to. Oh yes, so great. So tell just very briefly. So Jazeera Al Hamra is a really unique place in the UAE because it's one or the only existing coastal village in this part of the Gulf, and is very well preserved because it was abandoned between 1968 and 1971. So because the ownership was still preserved for those who just left, yes, no one destroyed it. And not like in any other places in UAE when everything was leveled and built from the scratch. Yeah. So Jazeera Al Hamra was like frozen in a time, unfortunately, slightly decay into the ruins, but largely preserved. And good news is that this unique place was added to the UNESCO tentative list. So it's a huge achievement, and hopefully this process will proceed, and at some point Jazeera Al Hamra will be like really signed to the main list. So what we are doing, we are working in the excavations and the conservation under the Department of Antiquities and Museum, Ras Al Khaimah. But now there is another organization who is taking care of the management of the Jazeera Al Hamra. It is the Sheikh Saud bin Sakr Al Qasimi Foundation. If you want, you can visit the webpage and just learn more. So Jazeera Al Hamra is located directly here. It is like 18-ish kilometers from old Ras Al Khaimah. It was located on the island, but so why Jazeera Al Hamra is so important from my point of view? It is not only because it is the only standing village not destroyed, but it is the place when you can observe all the main elements of the traditional Arab city or the village. So we have like the central mosque, the Friday mosque. We didn't have madrasa, but we know that there was the teacher, yes, of the Quran and all these religious issues. So we have the souk, which was the not only a place for the exchanging different goods, but only the kind of the place for the social meetings. We had courtyard houses, plenty of them, with the very traditional way of the arrangement of the building inside. So with the majalis, with the winter houses, with the summer houses, those who visited Jazeera Al Hamra probably knows that. If not, I'm still here for a while, so please come. I will show you. And between the courtyard houses, between the walls, you have this very narrow streets, sometimes really narrow, which are typical for the Arabic city or towns as well. And when you will see later, Jazeera Al Hamra was not like one monolith, but it was divided into small parts, as it is quite typical for the traditional cities as well, towns. And we don't have evidence that we had the city walls, but we had the fort with the watchtowers. So it was the element for the of the defense, protection of excuse me, of the village. So we don't have the backhouses or caravanserais because it's not this type of the place or village where you can find it. So Jazeera Al Hamra is really important from my point of view as well, because we can see this moment of transition between the traditional architecture based on the beach rocks and coral stones and gypsum-based mortar into the cement. So we can see how huge change this introduction of the cement caused in the local architecture. And I think that probably it's the only place in the UAE when you can just see something like that. So here you can see, for example, how the use of the concrete and cement changed the not only the look of the wall, but the state of the preservation. Because at the beginning, I believe that the cement was not well known with his properties, yes, how to use it and how it can be used. So it changed later, but it caused a lot of the problems. Like you can see here that the bricks just completely disappeared. But later, when the reinforcement was added to the concrete, it caused many problems as well because the iron did not survive well with this humid and salty condition. So Jazeera Al Hamra is perfect example of this changes. So it was the island. So you can see, you can see that here there was the entrance to the lagoon, and this is the map done by Lieutenant Thomas de Remon in 1820. You can read more in Tribulus, excellent publication. So this is the first map, which I will mention later as well. But just commonly what you can find in the internet is that Jazeera Al Hamra is not mentioned in this first publication. Yes, so Gasparo Balbi, merchant who traveled with the Portuguese, did not mention place such as Jazeera Al Hamra. So the first information came from 1756 and was written by the Dutch person employed in Bandar Abbas in the Dutch East India Company. So then when the British came and the conflict starts, more and more sources pop up. So as I said, the first one is written in Dutch. I do not understand, so I asked ChatGPT to translate. I think that the translation is quite silly, but so there are the important information. Yes, so we know that Jazeera Al Hamra is called Red Island because of the color of the sands which was surrounding the island. We know that people, the inhabitants of sediment, was doing the pearl diving. We know that here, yes, it was already mentioned, the Zap tribe. So those are the main information which are like generally connected with Jazeera Al Hamra. Pearl divers, yes, and Red Island, and Al Zap tribe. So we have the next information from the map which I mentioned. So here you can see that the town was partially abandoned, yes, and the author said that most of the houses are now in rams. Yeah. So something happened, and the majority of the inhabitants, people, just changed the location. I'm not sure if they went to rams, probably not, but this is what he wrote. So the other, after 1890, there is more and more information because this area became a part of the Trochal state. And mainly the information which we can find is the number of the boats, yes, and how much the village paid for the sheikh. And so kind of how high the tax was. We can find as well information about the military strength of the village, how many like the soldiers, warriors they could send. I think that the most known is this one. What the information which was provided by Lorimer in his sort of the encyclopedia about all the cities and the relation of this part of the Arabia. And here we have the information, for example, which I mentioned before, that there was the smaller quarters. Yes, it was not like the one monolith, one village, but there was some division inside. We can find confirmation, yes, of course, that there is the Zap tribe. We have the more information as well that they're not doing only the pearl diving. They're doing the different type of the economical activities as well. They have the donkeys, they have the cattle, they're collecting the wood. So what is quite interesting is Lorimer just said that here it was like in Jazeera Al Hamra was like around 500 houses. And this is quite correct because our HBR team recorded, I think, that around 530 houses. So the information seems to be quite correct and match to what we know from our research. So Jazeera Al Hamra, it was village, island, and you can see that, oh, go back, Aga. Yeah, so you can see that, oh, so difficult. You know, I'm archaeologist, I'm not very good with the modern technology. So you still can see in 1997 when Angela took the photo, you can see the shape of the island. Yes, it's beautifully visible. So it's a great photo, and we are happy that we can use it in our purpose. So when you are thinking of Jazeera Al Hamra, especially now when you visited it, you cannot feel it. Yes, it's really now it's connected to the mainland, and the expression or just experience of the place is a little bit different. But just remember this photo and just believe me that once it was the island from you know, I'm not very good. So here it was quite a shallow lagoon, and according to the sources, it was possible to cross this lagoon even with quite high tide. So what I want to say that when you are just looking now or the walking through the streets of Jazeera Al Hamra, you can see a lot of the masonry buildings, yes, the walls. But in fact, we have to remember that this is quite unique, yes, that as you can see here, yes, not so long ago, yes, Arish structures were integral part of the architecture Yes, and the traditional sediments will not be only made of the masonry buildings and the solid buildings, but it was full of the different Irish constructions. And we have evidence of it in our archaeological layers because we have thousands of post holes. Really nightmare. So we are not the first who conduct the research in Jazeera Al Hamra. Before, Professor Hawker had a very nice project there. Together with his students, he collected oral, like the descriptions. Yes, he collected the students make the interviews with the old Al-Zab people, yes, from the tribe Al-Zab, and he collected the information about the economy, about the life, about everything what was going on in Jazeera Al Hamra. So he published a lot of the results, which is very helpful in our everyday work. So the other, I think that you know, and probably a lot of you took a part in this project. So Professor Bart just collect all of you, or not some of you, and took to Jazeera Al Hamra for the counting the corals. And according to the research, in the walls of Jazeera Al Hamra is around 12 million of coral colonies. I spoke with email with Professor Bart, and he said, oh, maybe not. It was in one of the publications that it is like around 45 kilometers of the coral reef. So it's a huge amount of corals. So he said that he strongly disagrees with the idea, which you can find in some of the publications, that the corals were collected or harvested from Iran or the Tomb Islands. He said that in his opinion, close to Jazeera Al Hamra, there was the coral reefs, which now don't exist. Yeah, but the corals which are in Jazeera Al Hamra or were used to build Jazeera Al Hamra were collected close to the shore, close to the village. So what we are doing? We have the different type of the activities in Jazeera Al Hamra. We as archaeologists. First of all, our main task is to conduct the archaeological research excavations before any reconstructions. If anything is planning to do, if there is any plan for the reconstruction, conservation, whatever, we are sent as the archaeologists to check what is below the surface, to just help create the story of the place. Yes, the earlier phases, what was happening in this place. The other type of the work which are doing is like the rescue archaeology. When, for example, some earthworks are planning or conducted. Like, for example, during the preparation of the current infrastructure, we were in every single trench to make sure that nothing was gone, nothing was destroyed. We were protecting everything what was under the ground. Then we have time sometimes for the small projects for ourselves. When we would like to know answer on some question, like we don't know what's happened in this place of village, or some other we are looking for information which can fill the gaps in oral histories. We can just do the research, like more scientific research, to answer these particular questions. And the other, of course, is like what we are trying to do. Oh, this machinery doesn't work with me. Okay, so later, my fault. So anyway, what we are doing, we are trying to find all and record all the pieces of the walls, yes, which are buried, yes, under the sand. But it's so easy to find the wall because it's solid. This is more difficult because every single, like the difference in the color, in the texture, means that something happened in the past in this particular place. And sometimes, especially when the sand is dry, it's so difficult to see these differences. So this part is quite easy. This one is not so easy. But you can see that like here, there is a lot of different activities which took place in the past in Jazeera Al Hamra. And our task as the archaeologists is just to properly record everything. So what we are doing, we are preparing drawings, we are taking the photos, then we create the plans with the direct location of the remains, which we discovered. And as you can see, we produce the tons of papers. Really, it's so boring. Yes, but sorry, I should not say that. Yes, but it is a lot of work. So, oh yes, this was the slide which I was looking for. One. So, not only digging, not only being a site, but in my opinion, it's very important to just try to tell people who are not professional archaeologists what are we doing, yes, and why. So we try to invite our friends, yes, for the workshops. We were involved in like showing the young Emirati, yes, what it is archaeology and what we are doing exactly. So it's a lot of the work, not only with the excavations and the post-excavation documentation, but like the meetings with people and explaining. So here, when you have a look on this map, you still can see, yes, the outline of the island. In the internet, you will find the information that the size of the island was 45 hectares, but according to QGIS, it's more than 50, so 53 hectares. So I think that the island was a little bigger than it is known usually, like commonly known. So here, the blue and yellow rectangulars or areas, we excavate these parts as the part of the watching brief, so like the rescue archaeology or like the regular archaeological excavations, and this is less than 10% of the island. Of course, here at the edges, there will not be too much archaeological layers or historical remains, but still, yes, we know only a very, very small part of the layer sediments and, in fact, the history of Jazeera Al Hamra. It doesn't mean that we should excavate everything. Absolutely not. Yes, it's like it depends on the strategy and the project. But archaeologists should not excavate. Never should excavate 100% of the site because maybe in the future there will be better techniques, will be more right educated archaeologists. So we should just leave something for them, yes, to make sure that they can correct our mistakes. So yes, what we've done. Arek Klimovic, great archaeologist, my colleague, was doing excavations on one of the interesting places in Jazeera Al Hamra, because here you have the remains of the souk. Here you have the shops with the alley leading to the mosque. And at the beginning, yes, there was a lot of the open spaces here and here. So, you know, when there are the open spaces, it's always a question, but why? Yes, what is below the ground? And Arek just start to analyze the souk with here you have the plan of the souk when Arek start the excavations. So Arek just found some historical photos which just shows the same place. Yes, so you have the same shops. Then the numbers are given by us, yes, to know where we are. Yes, so every compound, every shop, every mosque has the individual number, which allows us later to make the records in the proper way. So, but you can see that in the 60s, yes, the lagoon was still here, just behind the shops. So in the 60s, yes, the harbor was very close to the remains of the souk, which you can visit and then see in Jazeera Al Hamra now. But so Arek started excavating, yes, and he found more shops, yes, and more shops. Oh, here is the same area. So, but he excavated later another place and he found another shops. So at the end, yes, the plan of the souk, yeah, looks completely different. Yes, you can see the modern shops which are still existing, and you can see the remains of the previous arrangement of the souk. So unfortunately, with research like this, like our work, it's very difficult to say if all the shops were open in exactly the same time. Yes, because we have no possibility to say when the shop was built. We can see the connections between them, which one was built first, which was built later. So what we know that previously the souk was arranged along like the alleys, oriented the south-north. Yes. Later, something happened that all these shops were destroyed, dismantled, and only a few remains. So it was a great work, and he spent there a lot of time. If I will take a little bit more of your time than usually, you will be fine, no problem. So the other place which was quite interesting was the Friday Mosque. Whoops, I really don't like this. So in 2015, the mosque was still standing, was abandoned. Yes, so this is the mosque which is located in the western part of the island, and I will tell you a story as I know it. Yes, I'm not sure if it's true, but it's a good story. After some rains, heavy rains, remains of the pillars pop up. Yeah. So apparently someone had idea that, wow, we know that the British Navy mentioned the mosque. Yes. So we know that there was the mosque with the domes. We will just dismantle the mosque, which is not in a good condition, and we will rebuild the mosque, which was described by the British Navy. As I said, I don't know if it's true, but so what I'm sorry, but I don't know the source of it. Mr. Christian Welde gave it to me, and I'm still looking for the source. So anyway, so there was information that there is columns, very clumsy, 5 ranges in length and 4 crossing. Yes, and then between each square there is the column. I asked ChatGPT how it looks like. They see it didn't. Yes. So, but more or less, yes, we have the columns, we have the domes, but definitely didn't look like this. What we know only that there was like the 5 columns, and by 4, and that between them, yes, there was the domes. So there is like another, like the legend that there was like 20 dome mosque. Yes, that the mosque with the 20 domes. But when you just calculate according to the description which we have, yes, so the columns were between the domes were between the 4 columns. So in fact, there's only 12. If we don't know if the domes were here as well, it will be 30. Yes, so 12 or 30, but unfortunately not 20. But it was the interesting, idea. So we started excavating. So someone who just said that, oh, these columns are from the mosque described in the beginning of the 19th century, was very optimistic. So we found, as you can see, at least 6 different mosques with the different arrangement. And I like it because this particular building is the proof that if you want to do something, it's not necessary that you can to do it. Yes, that you have the abilities to do. So in my opinion, the only arrangement which matched to the description from the beginning of 19th century is marked here in the yellow. So here we have the 4 columns, but here there was the 5th row. Unfortunately, is already destroyed. But this mosque was, as I said, in my opinion, is the first one, oldest, described at the beginning of 19th century. And it was really funny because built almost without the foundations. And the columns, you have the remains of the column here, and you can see floor. So the columns were built directly on the floor. And we can imagine that the Qibla wall looked like this, but at some point, the part of it just settled, yes. And unfortunately, in my opinion, yes, they had to rebuild it. So what have they done? They just create or build the next mosque, but I think that they were not really, they didn't really understand what's happened. So what they've done, they put like up to the 40 centimeter of shells to level the ground. Yes, and I believe that they thought that the shells will be lighter because on the other side, when the floor didn't sink, you can see that the shell level was really, really thin. Yes, and they put the rubble below. So they wanted to put the rubble and a lot of shell on the upper part of the floor and more shells on the other side, which sank, to just balance it. Unfortunately, it didn't work because this floor, which you can see here, just had the same sloping, slope towards north. So unfortunately, it didn't help, but it was really interesting way of trying to solve the issue, yes, using the materials which they have. So this is my favorite mosque, beautifully done, in my opinion, with the first phase, which was here, with the entrance, the small steps here and here, and the strange structure which is here. So later, because the mosque was really nice, they just extend the courtyard up to here and close this entrance and build the steps here with the same nice pathwalk. So what we found that this is the way to the, oh, come on back, to the wells, which they create. They created the ablution area before entering the mosque. Yes, so it was really cleverly done, the well, then this pathwork, probably under the Irish roof, because we found the rolls of the post holes there. But it looks really nice. So I was thinking like, wow, really great. Have a look. 6 or 7 layers of floors. Yes, very well laid floor, very good quality. And I was very happy for about like 2 months, because later, below these 2 upper floors, we found another pillars. So apparently the 4 first floors belongs to the different mosque, and 2 upper floors represent the purple mosque. Because we didn't want to destroy the existing original floor, we don't know too much about the mosque, which is here mentioned or marked in this green color. But we know that it exists. And when you have a look here, you can see the line of the plaster, which was like around the pillars. Yes, so we know for like 100% that below this beautiful gypsum floors, there's another mosque which was not fully covered, exposed. So this is almost the last one of my favorite as well. So it was really big. Only the mosque is in old Ras Al Hamra was bigger. So 8 columns in 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls. Yeah, but when you have a look on it, what's happened? Yes, you see the wall goes here. It's not proper rectangular. So the angle here, it's not really right as well. And it caused a problem because they start to build the pillars, but because of the problems with the roofing, they had to shift the plan pillars in the different places. So you can see that the foundation of the pillars and the top of the pillar are not exactly in one place. So here is the foundation, and here is the pillar which was supporting the roof. So they really wanted to have very nice large mosque, but the execution, yes, was not so good. So this is like the examples of 2 places which were excavated carefully in Jazeera Al Hamra. And now I just would like to say a few words like about the Jazeera Al Hamra generally, which we find out. So we have some C14 dates. And when you have a look here, we have dates which are really early. Yes, we have the dates which indicate that Jazeera Al Hamra was settled already at the beginning of the 17th century. And when you go back to the first slides, yes, the first written history, yes, or the Jazeera Al Hamra is first time mentioned in 1756. So we have the dates which are much earlier. And not only from one place, the same date came from 2 different places in Jazeera Al Hamra. So it's not a mistake. So we have the dates from the fireplaces, which usually is the safe context, without should not have any mistakes with the taking the samples. Or so what is more important, Professor Bart also do some dates from the corals, yes, and his dates, yes, came between the mid 1500s and 1920. So the first corals are from here. The last corals were harvested at the beginning of the 20th century. So we have like kind of the confirmation of the C14 dates as well, which indicates that Jazeera Al Hamra is much earlier than like commonly known. So what is interesting, Professor Bart said that he has, of course, the evidence of reusing the corals because in one wall, he found the corals from the 16th century and he found the corals from the 20th century. So this is something what we have in our archaeological layers as well. They dismantled the walls because the building materials was really expensive. Yes, so they reuse it as much as possible. Yes, and this is why Professor Bart has the same date, such different dates in one wall. So first thing, yes, we have confirmed dates, which are quite early. So the other issue is that in Jazeera Al Hamra, we have the 3 cemeteries. We know, yes, for currently location of the 3 cemeteries. And all of them were buried. No one remembered that in this particular place or areas, there was the Islamic graves. We are sure that the graves came from the Islamic period because of the arrangement. So I think that everyone understands that here in the culture, yes, you cannot just build the house above the graveyard. Yes, it's not acceptable, not possible, but it happened in Jazeera Al Hamra, and we have the archaeological evidence for such a sequence of events. Yes, so so this is the second fact. Please remember, yes, that we have the graveyards which were forgotten. Yeah, so the third things or facts is that during the watching brief, we found in a few places, we found exactly the same sequence of events. We have like very well done gypsum floors, quite often above the shell layers. Yes, then we have the evidence of fire. Yes, you see the charcoal and yes. So we have in these layers material from roof which collapsed. Yes, because it was usually full of the silt which was placed above the roof. So then we have the layer of material, usually with the rubble, and then we have the later layers. So we had some dates from these layers, from the charcoal, and these 2 examples are showing possibly very early dates. Yes, so the last one is not so early, but it can be problem with taking the samples. It's quite difficult sometimes to take the samples from the layers because material inside the layer can be mixed. Yes, so it's not like previously with the fireplaces when we know that it happened in one particular moment. Yes, so anyway, we have possible dates which shows, as I said, very early dates. So when you have a look here, it's not well visible, but the sites, yes, the places with this sequence of event which we discovered was within the modern alleys. So after this event, which caused the destruction of the houses, the new layout of the village was completely different, was without the like repeating the limits of the ownership of the previous compounds. Yes, so we have like the gap, yes, in my opinion, gap between the first event represented by these fires and what happened later. Because in my opinion, yes, if, for example, this part of the town would be fired, yes, the limits of the own land will be well known, yes, by myself. I know where was my house, and I would rebuild the house in more or less the same place, not changing completely layout of the village. So what we have the dates which are much earlier than commonly known. We have the forgotten cemeteries, and we have this evidence of the events maybe happened in the same time. I believe that it is possible, maybe not necessary, but the event which caused the complete change of the layout, yes, of the household. So in my opinion, what archaeologists can say, yes, I personally believe that Al-Zab was not the first inhabitant of Jazeera Al Hamra. I believe that before this island was inhabited by some other group of people. We don't know, different tribe. We really don't know, yes. But something happened that the village was abandoned, and then Al-Zab came and built the Al Jazeera Al Hamra, which we know currently. So when it is possible, I'm just participating in the lectures given by Al-Zab members, sheikhs, or the old people who remember a little bit of the history of Jazeera Al Hamra. And I heard that they think that they came to Jazeera Al Hamra at the beginning of 18th century. And if this is true, it will confirm also, yes, that before Al-Zab appearance or coming to Jazeera Al Hamra, something else was there. Yes, so someone else were there. So we have like the history of the particular sites. We have like the general history of Jazeera Al Hamra, and we have some like micro histories in Jazeera Al Hamra as well. So we try to use the QGIS, Geographic Information System, to put the map from 1820 to the current map of the village. And the results were quite promising. Arek was sitting and thinking, like, okay, and he disappeared. I didn't know what's going on, but he went there and started excavating the narrow trench because he wanted to check if our transformation was correct. And he found what he was looking for. He was looking for the destroyed watchtower. So you can see here the remains of the watchtower found by Arek with the remains of the explosion. Yes, so because when you have a look for the documents from the beginning of 19th century, you will find out that at some point from Bombay, there was the order to destroy all the defensive architecture on the coast between Rams and Abu Hail. And the towers in Jazeera Al Hamra was the part of this defensive architecture. So here we have the information which came from, I know it from the other publication, yes, that the Jazeera Al Hamra, yes, was blown up in April, yeah. So we more or less, or we can like connect the archaeological evidence with the historical sources, which is really nice. And Arek did it. So the other issue, yeah. So during the watching brief, the workmen found a beautiful collection of the bottles. And we cleaned it. one of the bottle had the stamp. And ta-da, Annalisa had done the research completely. I was too lazy. And she found that the seal belongs to the John Dean, yes, who was the official in East India Company. So what we can say, we know the dates, yes, and it's really nice because we know that the bottles were produced at the beginning of the 18th century. So this type probably before 1730s, which will match to the dates of the cadency of John Dean in India. So we can just imagine that at some point, going to India, he stopped in Jazeera Al Hamra for a picnic. And because I believe that Jazeera Al Hamra was occupied at that time, and he had to cross the whole village to this point where the bottles were found. So probably he had some interactions with the locals. We found the local pottery and the beautiful incense burner. So it's possible that he didn't sit there alone. There was the 5 bottles, so probably definitely not alone. Yes. So, but this is another kind of the micro history which we can tell about Jazeera Al Hamra. Yes. So I believe that the archaeological work and results which we obtain are giving some additional light on the commonly known story, which is repeated constantly in the internet. Yes, so that our work can really extend the image, yes, of the life in Jazeera Al Hamra and the history of Jazeera Al Hamra within the ages or centuries. So thank you very much. Sorry for taking so much of your time. So, and of course, we are not working alone. Yes, it's just the whole team behind us all the time. So thank you very much for coming and for listening. So if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. I'm sure there'll be questions. So fire away.
This place was obviously set. This will tie in with when the British came in there, when they called this area the Barbary Coast, and they sacked it basically, so they didn't have. I'm sure everybody knows that the history there, where they had to shake it, Russell Crowe or someone who wrote a very interesting book, talking about that the sacking of us from the point of view of people that live there. British just wanted dominance over the area, wanted dominance over the trade, so they.
There are some political issues. I'm archaeologist, so.
It ties in with that, obviously, isn't it? It ties in very nicely with that.
I'm archaeologist. I do not comment on political issues. Sorry.
Next year, which is fair.
Agnieszka, 2 questions. You mentioned artifacts that were dated in the early 1700s. The glass, and earlier you mentioned brick. I'm not bricks, coral.
Yes.
Now, how do you know they weren't brought there? I mean, maybe traders from the Gulf went to India and brought the glass back.
Bottles?
Yeah, the bottles.
Okay, so
the coral.
Okay,
So we're not actually quarried somewhere else and brought to Jazeera Al Hamra.
about the corals, I think that when you are talking about the 12 millions of corals, yes, it's more probable that they were harvested just to be used in this particular village. Yes, no one will just harvest 12 million of coral somewhere else and just bring it. It's not like economically reasonable. So I think that especially when, I'm not the specialist, but Professor Bart believes that the corals came from the reefs which were close to Jazeera Al Hamra. And I trust him. Yes, I believe that it was like he said. So
Did you also say that some of the corals seem to come from the uranium?
no, this was the opinion with some of the publications. And at the beginning, when I started the work in Jazeera Al Hamra, I found the information that yes, the coral were harvested at the now Iranian islands of Toms. But Professor Bart said that he doesn't believe in it, that in his opinion, yes, it was the local reefs only. Yeah. So the bottles, yeah. When we have like the set of the objects in one archaeological object, in one pit, yes, we can just say that they were deposited in the same moment. Yes, this is like the single event, yeah, was placed, were buried. Yes, so how do we know that they're not coming from the other, places? It's like we don't know. We don't have any proof. But when we have the 5 bottles, one with the personal seal of the owner, yes, it is possible that I personally, yes, I believe that someone who afford to buy the bottles, yes, brought them, just consume and throw away. Was a very good person because hide the bottles, yes. This is why they're so well preserved, yes, because they were buried in the soft sand and they were not crushed, yeah. So of course we don't have evidence. So archaeology is kind of the guessing, yes. I cannot tell you anything with 100% sure, yeah, that this was like for sure that must happen. Yes, this is kind of the interpretation which we can give you.
So that layer where they were found was also the same.
The bottles, it was the pit. It was the pit, yes, which was when the rubbish were placed and then filled with the sand. So it was not layer, because with the layer we don't know. But when we have the pit, and the pit is backfilled with the same type of the material, we can say that this was done like as the single action.
Bottles, they go fully empty, there was no trace.
It was full of sand.
And so they know they could trace what exactly was inside.
No.
But then he's.
But there's information that John Dee, who was government for 2 sessions.
Yes.
723 to 26 and 20 sessions like that. Obviously, the mission to install now of the last one. And it's something that's been way.
Yes, yeah, but it's like quite possible that he or his friends, yes, were in a way, yeah. So this is like the kind of the story. I'm not saying that this really happened, but it's good to put some people inside the archaeology, yes. So to tell about someone, not only the glass or the sand or the corals, yes. The archaeology should be about the people.
Probably MMI existed in the 1500s.
And usually Islamic graves, production graves, right? That were the older layer. They have no bone remains.
We found no, okay, so we saw some bones exposed by accident, but we just buried them because we are not allowed to excavate, yes, the any human remains, yes, especially from the Islamic period. So we not possible. No, we respect the people who were buried there, and as soon as we found the grave, you see the photos which I show. Yes, we have usually the outline. We have some stones. We are not going deeper. Yes, we know the function. We know what it is, and that's enough. Yes, we don't have to disturb.
But this would Salud that they were.
Yes, but,
people from Zanzibar.
I'm sorry, but it's not possible.
In Salud, they got permission to activate them. Yeah, please.
You made a couple of references to the British observation that when they came through to raise the defenses, that Jazeera Al Hamra had been unoccupied. The last one I caught it quickly had been unoccupied for at least a year and a half
Yes,
before.
yes.
Why was that? Do you see that in the archaeology
We
plans, or is that kind of recent?
we believe that it might be connected with the access to the water. Yes, if there was no, access to the water, probably there was not too many people living in the village. It doesn't mean that the village was completely abandoned, but the most of the people were just simply not there. From my point of view, when we have the gap, which is like 1.5 year, is not long enough to cover the cemeteries. Yeah. So I believe that because of the access to the water and the problem with the access to the water, people were just sometimes the village was more occupied, more people were there, sometimes less, and it could be connected with the conditions.
That makes the point that Christian Felder has mentioned a number of times. The channels change and things change. It was, if you go back to the 1950s, go north to Ras Al Khaimah, go back to the 1950s, where Ras Al Khaimah core now opens on the peninsula where
Yes.
old Ras Al Khaimah city sits. The peninsula, there was not a channel there. And as late as the storm in 1954, the channel continued all the way on up to ramps.
Yeah.
And there was a very long, narrow entrance to Ras Al Khaimah core. It didn't support mangroves or anything. And those kinds of changes have to have an effect.
Yes.
On how people use the.
We when we spoke with Al-Zab tribe, yes, the members who remember the life in the 60s, 70s, they're saying that there was much more water there. Yes, that they have like the goats and the cattle in a village, and they can just cross the lagoon and just grease, just feed them. Yeah. Graze them there. So the conditions, I think that was quite important. Yes, and they had a huge influence on the life on the island.
Another question that's partly historical, but maybe also archaeological. The latest abandonment of Jazeera Al Hamra was partly tribe, clan, family based. The Zabis left as a group, and one reads they were welcomed by Abu Dhabi. What do you see anything in the archaeology that suggests either close, distant, or whatever relations between Jazeera Al Hamra and the main city of Ras Al Khaimah, or to far before it, that suggests either friendliness, unfriendliness, separatism, whatever?
In the archaeological layers, we don't have such evidence. No. So as I said, when we speak with the people from Al-Zab tribe, they're saying that the island became too small for them, and there was no opportunity to grow. Yes, so even before 68, they start to flee to mainland. Yes, and, there was the better conditions there, and then they had the offer from Sheikh Zayed, and they use it. Yes, to just move to Abu Dhabi. noise, you know.
Thank you so much. Very interesting lecture. I just want to add that in the first document by the Portuguese, you pointed out that they are merchants.
Gasparo Balbi, he was from Genoa, but he travels on the Portuguese ships.
Yeah. The Portuguese were the first colonizers, I would like to say, rather than merchants in this area, especially in the Ras Al Khaimah, which was called Jafar before, as early as 1500, very early. And it was a very vicious military occupation or colonization, let's say, for 300, 400 years until the clash came with the British overpower and then British over. So Jazeera Al Hamra was the first to be hit by any military or cannons, the first area to be hit by since the 1500s. That's why I think you see so many leveled buildings and they are rebuilt since the 1500s. And then by the 1800s something, as you said, they abandoned the city or the island because it was hit many, many times. The massacres, there are stories still told by people across the feeling of torture and rape and burning the whole coast. So Jazeera Al Hamra was always the first to be hit. By about 300, 400 years that they went into alliance with the family, who were the latest occupants. Before that, they were, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but there was the Jafar civilization, which dates to 1,100 years. And then by the 18th, sorry, so by 18, some 18, mid 18, 20s, 1850s, when the British came and they were more vicious. So they went into the alliance with inland tribes, Al-Shahi, Al-Tahuri, Al-Qasimi, and they went inland. That was the first migration or the first major, let's say, when they abandoned the whole island, let's say. And then they went back, by the 1940s, 50s, when it was, I would say, more peaceful colonization. And they went back, but then the whole economy has changed.
Yeah.
The whole thing. There's no further diving, water was less, and other countries like Bahrain and Saudi and Kuwait have jobs. So a lot of them also went to Kuwait and Saudi for jobs. And then by the early 60s, Sheikh Zayed invited all that because they are known for being loyal and very important tribe and warriors. He invited them to Dhabi. And that was, I think, I'm not sure, but they say almost 90% of them yes, Abu Dhabi. So that's when you say we don't know in the 1800s what happened. This is what happened. They went inland.
Thank you very much. I understand your point of view, but in our archaeological layers, maybe. Unfortunately, I cannot confirm because in my archaeological sand layers, we don't have such information. And we have the evidence of fire, but we don't have any evidence of violence. Yes, no, weaponry, nothing like that. We didn't find it. Yes. So unfortunately, I cannot confirm that. I can only say that something happened. So it's time for me, to go there. Thank you very much.
Would information like that, I'm sorry, after many years of having the chance, I haven't read Sheikh Sultan's treatise. What treatise is it? include information like that?
I think yes, it would, yes, a lot, yes. On the alliance between the tribes and everything until the union, yes, the union, yes, could be there, yeah.
Sorry. So Agnieszka, maybe it's related. Was there fresh water available at Jazeera Al Hamra?
No.
Never. So it was
so
far from the mainland.
We spoke with David Kingston, and he said that in some particular conditions, above the salty brackish water and the islands like Jazeera Al Hamra, they might be the pillow of the sweet fresh water, but they must be the proper conditions. As for Jazeera Al Hamra, we know that the wells were on the mainland. So when you visit Ras Al Khaimah and you travel from Al Hamra Mall towards Ras Al Khaimah, you can see these two towers on the ridge. Yes, so these towers were built to protect the wells.
Seems far away from the island.
Yes, yes, and Al-Zap always said that every day the water was delivered by donkeys and so on. Yes, and so on. Yes.
What's the oldest settlement we found at this site? Is that true?
Here in Jazeera Al Hamra. So it's in Jazeera Al Hamra. I screwed up. Sorry. Yes. It's very difficult because in archaeology we have like the absolute dates and the relative dates. We know what was first, what was later, but given the precise dates is very difficult, especially when we are talking about the last centuries. Yes, sometimes the coins are helping. Yes, because the coins usually we know where it was minted. Yes, sometimes the C14 dates helps, but as you saw, we have the range. Yes, it's never particular date, so it's very difficult to say, what was the first. Arik found the flint arrowhead, but it was on the surveys. Someone brought it, yes, to Jazeera Al Hamra, so definitely it did not prove that we had such old sediments or the layers. So what I can say that the Professor Bart's dates and our dates confirm that it is highly possible that the end of the 16th, beginning of the 17th century, there was the first sediments. The end of the 16th and the beginning of 17th century.
Is there still anything to be seen of the reddish dunes?
You see, I read some of the descriptions from the British Navy officers, and they didn't say that Jazeera Al Hamra was red, that the dunes behind Jazeera Al Hamra was red. Yes. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, when we excavated the holes, yes, the sand looks like pretty normal. Yes, sandy brown. So, but according to the description,
But the local name also refers to the red.
yes, exactly. Yes, but so.
I guess looking for it today might be a lost cause.
Yes. So we have some layers which can be called reddish, but when we for example, excavated the Friday Mosque to protect the archaeological layers, real red sand was brought from outside, and I never ever encountered this reddish sand during my excavations in Jazeera Al Hamra. Never saw red. So, yeah, but yeah.
What's the timeline of the mosques, the 6 or 7 mosques that you have selected from the first?
I'm not able to answer this question. Yes. So if my interpretation is correct, and the first one is described, yes, at the beginning of 19th century. We can say that the first mosque could be built end of the 18th, beginning of 19th century. And the last one was built of concrete and reinforced concrete. So it was built in the 60s, 70s, or 60s probably. So, and all of them between.
So the cone was over the years.
Yes. Yes, I do not know when exactly, but it was backfilled. Yes.